Welcome back, and joining me to take us through the day's trade is Annatjie Van Rooyen from MyWealth Investments. Thank you so much for your time, Annatjie. Quite a pleasing picture that we are seeing there on the markets front. We're seeing heavy gains on the US market, but even on the JSE. So it's nice to see the JSE participating there, of course, being led by the resources complex. What have you made of today's big trade in the green?
Hello, Annatjie, and thanks for having me. Yes, a good day all around. So like you've mentioned earlier, we've received a positive handover from the Eastern market. What happened there was that Samsung came out with a strong set of numbers. So I think that kick-started the mood. And then also the Bank of Japan signaled some accommodative monetary policy going forward, which the markets liked a lot. And then also, as you have mentioned, we have the Fed meeting that will be concluded later today, and the ADP numbers in the US that were published this afternoon actually signaled that the jobs market is cooling, and this is what the Fed wanted. So it is anticipated then that rates will be kept on hold when they make their announcement later tonight. And the market's also pricing in 100% probability that the first rate cut will indeed take place in September. We've also seen not so good news from China, as PMI contracted for the third month. But this brings the stimulus bets back to the table. So the market is probably taking a bet that the bad news will force the hand of the authorities to bring stimulus to the table. And that is why our resources counters also had quite a positive day. Unfortunately, we've also seen escalation in tension in the Middle East, and that's been supporting the gold counters, as obviously gold is a safe haven, and that's also building in further risk premium into the oil price. So we've seen an uptick in some of these commodity prices that act as safe havens.
Well, let's actually zoom into the JSE company news that came out, and starting off with a company that is linked to the mining industry, the AECI, coming out with its interim results today. Of course, they did flag a reduction in their key financial metrics before. We did have revenue down, also that filtering through to the bottom line. It was actually quite interesting because when they came out with a trading update, they got punished by the markets. We did see a little bit of a rebound today. Really not any unexpected explosions there?
No surprises there. And they have explained very well that the result was driven by a high effective tax rate. So, they're also exposed to the mining and the agricultural industry, which are both very cyclical industries. So no surprises there, and a positive outlook going forward. So I'm not too concerned about that.
All right. Well, there's some concerns on Woolworths. It did come out with a full year trading update today. Of course, we did have them eking out gains in terms of turnover there, but they really spoke of the impact of a weak consumer pocket there, even though the food business proved resilient against the consumer stress. They expect their bottom line to decrease. How did you chew on those numbers?
Yes, it was a very interesting reaction from the market because the share price got punished as soon as that SENS announcement came out. But once investors processed everything, the bargain hunters came back and started buying it up, and I think it ended positive on the day.
Yeah.
So I think what one should look at here is, yes, it was a bad result. The investors were very disappointed with the lack of disclosure regarding the David Jones cost of investment. Investors didn't like that. Like you said, the food division of the business is doing well, but the problem is on the apparel side. And I think the reason why the share price turned positive and why investors came back is if you look forward, and the second half of this year, the retailers will probably operate in a much friendlier operating environment. As the winds of change are blowing in South Africa, we might very well look forward to a more supportive infrastructure support system. And also we look forward to interest rates coming down from September in South Africa as well. So much better environment. That profit dipped from 5 billion to about 3.2 to 3.5 billion rand, and they've been battling to beat inflation in terms of their sales. And even their revenue growth is it's negative in real terms. So they should probably look at Shoprite, who's setting the example, managing to come out with 12% growth in sales in a difficult operating environment. So I think they should just, sharpen the focus a bit, and they can do well in the second half of the year.
All right. Well, I think we are seeing sharp focus there with Altron. They released their interim trading statement. The company is saying that it expects their bottom line to increase by more than 20% compared to the prior period. We did have that share price climbing 5%. It does seem that momentum has kept going up in terms of performance and also the share price on Altron. What do you think of this performance?
Yes, that one is attractively priced, and the restructuring that's been implemented obviously is proving to be very successful. Netstar, like you mentioned, is doing very well, and all the divisions have actually performed very well. There's only one division that didn't do so well. It was the electronic distribution, and that was due to a global slowdown in demand for that product. But overall, very good set of numbers and offering value at these levels.
All right. Where else are you seeing value? Your stock pick for today?
I'm going to stick with the local ones, and I'll go for Anglo American because the resource counters have lagged, and the recent production update has proved to be resilient. And as we all know, Anglo is very, very well positioned in the current race for copper as the world is transitioning to greener energy. So with Anglo's in the process of unbundling and unlocking value for investors after the failed bid or takeover bid from BHP Billiton, I think you can't go wrong by having Anglo's in your portfolio, offering good value at these levels.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insight on what has moved investors' money today. Annatjie, that was Annatjie Van Rooyen from MyWealth Investments.